So NanoWriMo is finally over, and I did indeed manage to win. Or in other words, I did manage to write 50,000 words in the month. In fact, I managed to get it done a day early, and so I essentially had a day off on the 30th. On the 31st, I went ahead and got a haircut and cleaned my house a little bit and just kind of took care of some business that was outstanding throughout the month of November, so things are back to normal-ish. It's good to have met the challenge, but I'm still not done yet. One thing that sometimes people forget is that 50,000 words isn't exactly a novel. 50,000 words is a goal for the month, but what I found, at least with what I had planned, is that I managed to stay with my outline throughout the writing of this draft, which was a first for me. That's phenomenal, in fact. But towards the end, I found that I just still had a few more scenes that I had planned to write that I didn't get to within the 50,000 words. So going forward, my plans for editing and revising are actually on hold until I finish the whole draft. I want to get through at least what I had outlined, start to finish. I mean, very first chapter all the way through to the climax and the resolution. Have all of those at least drafted for a first round, and just see where that is. The next thing I've got to do is, while I was writing this draft, I had ideas, things that came up just in writing that I either explored a little bit or tried to incorporate, but they're not fully incorporated. And one good example is there's a chapter early in this draft that I wrote that, as I was writing it, I had my main character who had shrunk herself to the size of just a couple inches tall, and she encountered this chicken that was really territorial and just sort of pissed off. And so suddenly there was sort of this comic moment where my main character had to run from this chicken and then find a way to get around the chicken. And I thought, what, I want this chicken to come back and just be sort of like the bane of this character's existence for like a good portion of the book. And so as I wrote the rest of the book, I would get down to the chapter and I think, oh wait, this would have been a good place for the chicken. And rather than try and go and edit that during NanoWriMo, I just put sort of a note in my script saying, to do, add chicken. And so to me that makes sense, and I understand the context of that, but I've got to go back now and find all those to-dos and actually write that content in. And then consider whether or not it's worth keeping or not is also something to mull over. I tend to have the tendency to write very light, especially when I'm drafting. A lot of times when I have written a first draft of something and shown it to someone, a commentary that I get back, or criticism, is you need to unpack. Basically what they're saying is that I've got the main beats of the story, kind of the main things that need to happen in the plot, but I just went really light on a lot of the flavor, the details. What were the characters thinking? What did they look like? What was the setting like? A lot of that description I go really light on the first time around, unless it's something that's going to come back as part of the plot. Maybe there's some part of the setting that is important to a future scene, and if I've plotted that out in my outline, then I'll write about it. But I don't, really wax eloquent on any of that stuff first time around. So those are some things that I've got to think about during rewrites and during editing. I've also got to go through and make sure that I stuck with the same point of view. I've also got to go through and look at some other just writing semantics. Did my characters progress well? How did my plot end up resolving itself? Is that satisfactory? There's a lot of different things to look for when editing. The first draft is certainly not the end of the road. A lot of people during NanoWriMo ask me, particularly people who have not gotten into writing before, they say, well, once you're done with that, what's the next step? And for me, as I've been saying, I think the next step is just doing your own personal edits. And those are important because the first time around, you really don't get it right. There's going to be a lot more that you need to fix. But once you've gotten to that point, and then some things that people don't understand are part of the process are going in and hiring a professional, either a developmental editor to help you work on sort of the macro problems with your script, or maybe a line editor to help you with some of your prose and some of the grammar and whatnot. I think those are important. I think that whether or not you need them is a serious decision to be made by anyone considering publishing. And there are so many resources and videos that you can dive into when the time is right. I think though, until you have a manuscript that you're actually proud of, then you can kind of put off that research until a later time. Most people that I've encountered that are into publishing or promoting books, they don't really even want to talk to you unless you've kind of proven your worth by, being passionate about your story enough to go and write for a bit. If you show up to, a meetup or talk to someone who's got some experience in publishing and you say, hey, I want to write a book, and I've managed to write 70,000 words worth of manuscript that I've been editing and going over for a long time, then suddenly they kind of look at you a little different. So those are the thoughts that I've got on my mind. There are some tools out there that are designed to help people do edits on their books. And I've been looking at those. I might do some review videos of those tools, or at least just talking about my experience with them. If those sound interesting to you, let me know in the comments below. All 10 of you that will actually watch this vlog. Lastly, if you remember, this box, I've been talking about it in all the previous vlogs, says do not open until December 1st. And today is December 2nd because December 1st was packed. So we're going to open this here on camera for you and see what's in the surprise. Ready for it? Drum roll. Daisy, can you drum roll? No. What did we get? Little erasers. These must be for editing. This will be interesting. How can we hold these up so you can see? Ta-da! So that's all I've got for this vlog. I think I'm gonna step away from vlogging for a few videos and do some other types of videos for a while. If you enjoy these vlogs more than other types of videos, let me know in the comments section below, and I will see you all next time with another video.